If the battery can be removed using the E-lock, first eject the battery from the bike. If the battery is still in the bike and cannot be removed, use a 3mm hex wrench to remove the 3 terminal mounting bolts. The battery can now be removed from the bike. Use a 2.5mm hex wrench to remove the 2 battery tray mounting bolts. Lift the battery tray up and out of the bike. We recommend stuffing a small towel around the terminal to prevent the bolts from falling into the frame. With the bike upside down, use a 4mm hex wrench to unthread the center kickstand bolt. Use a Torx T40 to remove the other 2 kickstand bolts located on each side of the bike. Locate and begin to guide the kickstand cable out of the frame until the plug connection is accessed. Unplug the connection. Remove the center kickstand assembly by lifting it up and off the bike frame. Use a 2mm hex wrench to remove the 3 cover plate bolts and remove the cover plate from the bike. Use a 3mm hex wrench to remove the 4 ACU mounting bolts from the bike. Press from below and release the ACU up and out of the access compartment. Unplug the blue ACU cable connection that connects to the battery lock assembly. Use a 2.5mm hex wrench to remove the 3 battery lock mechanism mounting bolts. Slide the lock assembly down and remove it from the frame. Swap the lock assembly. Feed the lock assembly harness into the opening at the top of the frame and then bring it back through the hole in the left-hand corner. Guide the cable down past the controller so that the connection can reattach to the ACU. Reconnect the lock assembly harness to the ACU by aligning the arrows of the connection and firmly pressing the connection together. Guide the excess cables into the frame and reseat the ACU into the frame. Use a 3mm hex wrench to reinstall all 4 bolts that secure the ACU in the frame. Reinstall the cover plate by aligning the holes and reinstalling the 3 bolts using a 2mm hex wrench. Get the kickstand and drop it into the mounting position. Reconnect the cable connection by aligning the arrows and firmly pressing them into one another. Feed the cable and connection back into the access hole in the frame, under the kickstand assembly. Mount the kickstand by first installing the center bolt using a 4mm hex wrench. Do not fully tighten. Then follow up by reinstalling the final 2 bolts on each side using a Torx T40. Once all are threaded in, fully tighten all 3 kickstand bolts. Torque the center bolt 4 to 5 Nm and torque the side Torx bolts 20 to 22 Nm. Push the cables in the battery compartment to the sides and align the terminal to its mounting holes. Reinstall all 3 of the terminal mounting bolts using a 3mm hex wrench. Ensure all 3 bolts are threaded in before final tightening. With the bike positioned upright, guide the battery lock mechanism back into place and reinstall the 3 mounting bolts using a 2.5mm hex wrench. Ensure all 3 bolts are threaded in before final tightening. With the cables moved to the sides of the battery compartment, replace the battery tray and align it to the mounting holes. Reinstall the 2 battery tray mounting bolts using a 2.5mm hex wrench. Reinstall the battery by inserting the bottom in first and firmly pressing the top to lock it in place. Press and hold the center power button to power on the bike and test for proper function.